Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Summit America coverage. We've got 6 good ones coming up today, and first on the docket is Team Liquid versus Team eHug. We had a minor technical glitch getting into the draft, so I think we can hop right into it as it is well underway. We will have a lot of games coming up today. I'm Zyori, of course, joined once again by Merlini. Today is the day of eHug, Merlini. We will know whether they will be moving on to the top 4 or not.
Woohoo, eHug. Get excited.
Get pumped, man. Come on. Team Liquid versus eHug. This is a good one.
Why do they have an underscore in their team name?
Pump it up. That's a good question.
Was that always there? So in the new patch today, apparently people can edit their player information names.
Oh, that's good.
That
so
is good.
No more 9 tentacle surprise.
Well, he might still be 9 tentacle surprise,
But it's he
It could also be like a team name, like Banana on IG.
Banana.
Well, he was on IG, or it said like IG Banana.
Oh, yeah, like the old profile. So he's tagged up as Liquid, but I suppose that could be an issue here. So what do we have current standings that we can take a look at very quickly? No? Okay, no
Screw
standings.
the standings.
Yeah, forget about standings.
This game's almost...
Let's talk about this draft, Merlini. Liquid start off with a Shadow Demon Luna first pick, and eHug, they grab Mirana, Sand King.
Ember's just like out of the question. Right?
Yeah. So we talked about yesterday.
Good.
He's still good, but he's just not as good.
He's not mega easy, I'm going to face roll you mode anymore.
I think his window of maximum impact is a little bit too small, or it oscillates too much. Like, you have that peak right around level 6 when you still are pretty bursty, and then in the mid-game you're really squishy, and unless you got a lot of kills, you usually don't have a lot of items. You can farm up a Battle Fury, and then at the end you get scary again, but there's that mid-game where he's super glass cannon.
I think a lot of teams just don't like his risk versus reward now. He's too risky now compared to the benefit he provides. He's very, very good in the mid to late game. His early game is decent, but he really shines like, I think, like 10 through 30, and then
10 through 30 you think is when he shines?
Yeah, I think 10 through 30.
Oh, really?
Because like past that you'll have like hexes and orchids and BKBs and whatnot, and you can just man crush them.
Well, past that it's just all about sleight of fist, Battle Fury, cleaving all over the place. It's like that window before he gets the Battle Fury and you're still into the mid game is when I think he's a little rough.
I still think he's really strong.
You think so?
I think he's strong with just phase drums. I think he's really weak when the other team can, like a BKB Doom just rushes into him, or Life Stealer has Basher and just like right clicks him, or they have Scythe and they just blink initiate on him. I think that's when he's really weak. He's like kind of weak when like Sand King and Bat Rider get their blink daggers, and I also think that's one of the reasons why he's not as good anymore, because everyone picks Sand King now, and you have the instant stuns. You just chain into Bottom Arrow, chain into any stun that you like, and just absolutely destroy him before he gets a chance to even pop.
It kind of makes you feel like you have to go Black King Bar as your first item after drums.
Or Lincolns.
Or Lincolns, and sometimes that works, but there are a lot of times where we see Ember Spirits do that, and then they can survive, but their damage output is
We're seeing a lot more stun-heavy lineups now. Like Sand King, Mirana are top picks, and both of them provide very high utility stuns.
Yeah.
And I mean, even Wraith King. We've been seeing a lot of Wraith King recently, and he just straight up 8-second cooldown, 2-second stun, and then a slow. It just makes life difficult for the kind of difficult to play escape heroes.
Yeah, definitely a very stun-intensive meta as 6.81 is continuing to unfold before our eyes. I'm pumped to see the resurgence of Darkseer, though. We'll see him again in this game, and he'll be joined by Enchantress as well as Sand King. Now, Enchantress, Sand King, they're a very scary support duo, very aggressive, especially in the early stages. The problem is, though, they have to share the jungle. And Sand King, of course,
Enchantress can go offensive.
He wants to stack. Yeah, she can, but not always the easiest thing to do.
No, it isn't. But
it's not that bad. It's just it's one or the other. Either they have to put Enchantress in the enemy jungle, or Sand King doesn't get to farm those stacks super early and get like an 8-minute blink. But I mean, that's not necessarily bad. It's just different. No, speak of the devil.
Here we go. The Ember Spirit. He's not bad here.
No, I don't think so.
He's a good mid.
So who will he be mid against is the question here. He tends to fare well against squishy int heroes, or well, squishy heroes in general. Your more tanky presence, your kind of like Dragon Knights, tend to do pretty well, because Ember simply doesn't have enough damage to bring him down for a solo kill. And alright, it'll be Tinker. This is an interesting mid matchup, where I've seen both sides kind of dominate.
I think Tinker has the upper edge, at least in levels 1 through 5. Maybe level 6, Ember can get a kill on Tinker, but 1 through 5, Tinker should have the edge.
Yeah, Tinker can outfarm him a little bit, but there is that small window, like you mentioned, where Ember, he can get a kill on the Tinker if the Tinker isn't careful, doesn't keep himself topped off. But, of course, Koikva, very experienced on the Tinker, and he'll give Justin a run for his money, no doubt about it. And it appears we will be seeing a support Wraith King here. Yep, Way2's going to pick him up, and it will be Bulba on the offlane Nyx. So more support Wraith King here, Merlini.
It's legit.
Legit.
It's the real deal.
Yeah, I'm quickly becoming a fan of the one true king.
I think if you can roam with Wraith King, though, you can roam with any other hero. You just have to be good at moving around. It's not necessarily the heroes that's strong. He's just has a lot more room for air because he's a low cooldown stun, and he's super tanky, and he can die twice in team fights. So he just plays a little bit of a different role compared to a lot of the other really squishy roamers like Vengeful Spirit or even Enchantress in this game.
Yeah. So, all right, our first game of the day, eHug versus Liquid. We'll be kicking off, and this is when the group stages really get exciting in a tournament format like this, because after today, we should have a pretty good handle on who will be secured in the top 4 and who will certainly not be secured. Right now, EG are pretty much the only ones that are completely safe, and everyone else is still fighting it out. I think, is it No Earth Spirit, they're the only ones that are completely eliminated, I think. They're 0-4? Does that sound
I believe so.
Right?
They're not looking good.
Yeah, definitely not. And Liquid will start with an early roam here. If you want to take over for a moment, I'm going to have to adjust.
Sure. Introducing Team Liquid, we have Quakeva playing the mid Tinker. All 5 of Liquid already invading the jungle, but Jiggle, Billy, and Pandago scout him out. Anyways, rounding out the rest of Liquid, we have Way2 on the support Wraith King, TC on the carry Luna, Bulba on the Nyx Assassin, Pegasus, also known as Demon, on the Shadow Demon, and on the Radiant side.
Now on the Radiant side, I'll take over from here. We've got Pandago on the support Sand King. He'll be joined by Sheep Sucks playing on the Enchantress. Starting off in the Radiant jungle, we see a little bit of ward battling going on. A Dire Sentry blocking one of these big camps. And so far, no Radiant Sentries to get rid of it, but we'll see how they want to handle this. In the safe lane, it will be Jiggle Billy playing on the position 1 Mirana. In the mid lane, that leaves Justin on the Ember Spirit. And of course, in the off lane, it will be Cakes playing on Darkseer.
So I fully expect Way2 and Demon to run around a lot as the Shadow Demon and Wraith King duo. They can actually kill the Darkseer. They just have to have a really good disruption during the surge or a stun during surge. Either or will work, but they just have to coordinate that very, very well. We see DD, Demon in mid already making life very difficult for Ember Spirit in mid.
Yeah, not much he can do here against the double-ranged heroes. He did start off with a Stout Shield and a couple of pooled Tangos, but still, the double damage rune, he is rather squishy in these early levels. That lack of armor definitely does work against him here, and oh boy. Pardon me for a second here while I sign out of Steam. Bad boy today, forgot to sign out before we started. In the bottom, Bulba, he may get stunned up by Pandago here. Nope, Sand King just poking him a little crab-on-crab action.
Enchantress smoked mid.
Uh-oh.
He does have level 1 Searing Chains, but it only lasts 1 second now, so that's extremely difficult for a hero like Enchantress to set up with the stun. Tinker isn't the fastest hero at 305 move speed, but still fast enough to possibly elude this gank. Smoke is down in about 5 seconds time. They're going behind the tower. The chicken! The chicken! Oh!
No, the Jade Hoof! It had the bottle
It's a
as
red
well.
hoof. God.
This is... Oh, it's a red hoof. I'm colorblind, Ben. Leave me alone. Now Quick, but he's in trouble as well. He gets stunned up, brings out the March of the Machine, throws out the laser on Sheep, and he secures that kill. But can they get the recovery onto Quick? But the long cooldown on the Sleight of Fist, it's just not happening.
Oh, no.
We missed the first blood while that was happening, though. It came out in the top lane. Luna grabbed it on the Darkseer. So Liquid, they get a double win. Well, and they lose their courier. But Koikva, he gets a kill out of it and survives.
I'm a dick for calling you out on Jade Hoof.
It's okay. It's all good. I mean, I can see that it's different than green, but it's sort of a shot in the dark. Anyway, Liquid in pretty good shape. Losing the courier, though, hurts extra because Quickva's bottle was on it. So that makes Tinker's time in mid a bit
That's
more
okay. He didn't die, though. That was a really big deal that he didn't die. Maybe they should have waited for him to get level 3. If he's level 3, he has level 2 Searing Chains, and then he can kill Tinker. But they just didn't have enough disable to keep him locked down until that centaur was able to stun. And Bulba's actually even able to pressure Jiggle Billy on the bottom lane. He's not really doing camera work, but you can see that he's pressuring him.
Sorry, having some technical issues here I was trying to tend to. I wasn't listening to anything you just said.
I was talking about how it was really unfortunate that they couldn't wait until level 3, and how Bulb was able to actually pressure Jugglebilly on bottom, which is a little ridiculous. He's a decent offlaner, but Sanking Mirana should be strong enough, especially with an Enchantress threat, but Enchantress has been mostly focused on the opponent's jungle and Koikva in mid lane, as opposed to trying to deal with Bulba, and Cakes is just not having an easy time on top lane.
Yeah, definitely not. He's halfway through level 2, still working towards that Soul Ring. And compared to Bulba, he's halfway through level 4, has his boots up already, Magic Stick, the Pro Shield, and he's just farming away. 9 CS under his belt, Dark Seer with only 5. Now, I think the weak link for eHug, though, is Sheep. He just now hit level 2 on this Enchantress. Will smoke up with Pandago in the mid lane. He's got himself a Dark Troll Summoner, and where are they headed?
Oh, look at Demon. He's just ready to pop this smoke.
Yeah, great positioning. He's got a smoke of his own as well. And with that, the Dire Courier is just about to respawn.
But he leaves just right before the 4 minutes so he can stack. Is he going to actually pop it? No, he isn't. So Koikva.
Oh, can they get the ensnare, though? Yes, they sure can. Pandago coming in. That's a level 1 Burrow Strike. There's your Searing Chains. They don't stagger the stuns that well, but it doesn't matter. They've got plenty of damage, and Justin secures that kill.
Man, poor Demon. He was like there, almost at the right place, at the right time, but just about 10 seconds off. Looks like 4-minute rune is going to spawn bottom. Who's going to get it?
Oh, great play from Pandago to use the Sandstorm like that. It secures the invisibility. He can't get disrupted and grabs the haste rune. Very nicely done. And Demon, he walks away empty-handed.
Bottom's last hit is just not that great compared to Nyx Assassin. Nyx Assassin is 15-3, Bottom is 21-9, so Boba just under almost no pressure, and they've just had to focus so many efforts on Koikva, and he can just catch up through stacks. They don't have any ancient stacks, and they don't have any of the neutral stacks, but they could very easily well do so to get him that 8-9 minute BOTs.
It looks like TC will not be going a Midas first style of Luna. Has himself Power Treads and a Ring of Basilius, sitting level 5. So we'll see. Maybe he'll want to pick up the Helm of the Dominator next and start stacking those Ancients, as his supports haven't really had a chance to do it quite yet. But time will tell how greedy he wants to be. Could also just go straight into a Yasha BKB if they want to go for more of a mid-game fighting Luna.
Peeing out on Boba. Boba is close to level 6. They don't have any reveal on them, so they want to get a kill. They got to get a kill like really, really soon. Like now.
He's coming in, level 2 Burrow Strike now.
I don't know why he didn't just wrap around from the side. I don't think they would have killed him anyways, but...
And maybe if Jugglebilly hit an arrow from decent range, potential for a kill. But
yeah. It's level 2 Carapace.
Not easy.
Certainly not.
Koikva gets hit by the Searing Chains in the mid lane. I've noticed that when I go to say Searing Chains, I often say Searing Change. Like the change you're getting back from the cashier.
That burns?
That burns, yeah. But the fiery money, fiery pennies. Searing Change.
Literally burns a hole in your pocket.
Smoke from Liquid here. Pegasus and Way 2. They'll wrap around towards the bottom rune. Looks like they want to make a sandwich in the jungle. Even the Nyx Assassin coming in here. He does have Vendetta up. 2 Enchantress creeps. They could possibly take a fight, but they're still outnumbered. Beautiful stun from Pandago. Catches out Way 2. They'll drop this Wraith King, but they also lose the Enchantress. So 1 for 1. Now Justin coming in. Moonlight Shadow flies, trying to do some damage to Bulba. He's got Spike Carapace. Now Pegasus. He gets left behind. Sand King looking for an opening. Has no mana, but Searing Chains. Once again, out comes the disruption. Justin has a Sleight of Fist. One more ought to do it. And doesn't hop to the Remnant. Interesting choice. Well, hands it over to Amaship. Finishes him off with a Shockwave. Not enough mana for it. Oh, yeah, look at you. So, well, pretty good exchange in favor of eHug. All sorts of chaos happening here at the studio today, Merlini.
Chaos.
Chaos. Oh, it's insanity.
I think actually Boba messed that up. He only got 1 stun. So he was right here, and then Enchantress was right here, and then Sand King was over here. So he stunned like in this trajectory instead of stunning in this trajectory. And then I think he would have at least delayed the death on Wraith King, or just forced a lot more damage out on the Sand King and not allow him to come back in for a double stun.
It seemed like eHug were almost just ready for that as well. The Wraith King wrapped around expecting to be the initiator, and he kind of was, but eHug were ready to drop the hammer on him as well. So he kind of died before the rest of Liquid were in position to really follow
Or
up.
they were just in a really good position. They had they were just like right here instead of being caught a little bit further away from the tower.
And there will be another smoke here. Very aggressive early game. Not too many kills on the board, 6 and 7.5 minutes, but a lot of smokes have been burned already, and eHug will use another one. They'll hover around this top tower, but their smoke won't last too much longer. It will get revealed just in the nick of time as they go in onto TC. Surge forward on Pandago, connects with the Burrow Strike, and I don't think TC will be surviving this one.
It was a nice gank by eHug. eHug's playing a lot better than they were in the couple earlier games that we saw in the summit. Yesterday, their last game, they played pretty well, but most of the time we're like, eHug mid-game decision-making isn't their forte. They haven't gotten quite to that mid-stage phase yet, but their early game is pretty darn solid. Pandago and Amashik Sucks doing a lot of work around the map, getting a ton of control for them.
Sandking's been very active. He hasn't spent much time stacking up and farming in the jungle, but he's gotten enough kills that he's kind of made up for it. He's 2-0-2, 7 CS under his belt, brown boots, and about 900 gold in savings, soon to be 1,000 once he finishes off this small stack.
You know, I've seen like
not so small.
I've seen Sandkings use like so many different places. There's like here, and here, and I think the ideal spot's like right around here.
Yeah.
But
the creeps run all kind of willy-nilly, and oh gosh, missed a kill in the mid lane while we're looking at Sandking positioning here. Enchantress gets picked off by a hasted Bulba, who will now be level 7. Interesting that he's got no points in mana burn at all here.
They're paying for their sins of just letting Bulba get away with whatever he wanted to in the bottom lane. Yes, they killed Koikva, but at the same time, he already has BOTs 8 minutes in. That's without any ancient stacks. There's a double stack over there, and Bulba is just free to do whatever he wants to. So Luna died once, and the supports have died a couple of times, but I'm not liking eHug going into this mid to late game because I think that Tinker will just be able to respond to most of their ganks. Sandking only halfway to a Blink Dagger. We see a good timing is 8 minutes, and yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. So Koikva opting to skip the Soul Ring build, which is it's optional. It depends on if you have a big ancient stack. I think that Soul Ring is worth it because it allows you to take the ancients and then get your BOTs anyways. But if you don't, then I don't think it's necessary. Well, Bulba and Demon around bottom.
Ooh,
nice.
They'll see Cakes, but he
Nice
searches
scout.
away just in the nick of time. And yeah, Darkseer, he'll be okay for now. He's got his Soul Ring up, and Brown Boots still struggling to find farm. Pretty lackluster for Cakes overall, but at least he hasn't died more than once from that one gank earlier. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Koikva, he's going to get a bit more active. They'll burn this glyph here, and he finished off the Enchantress as well. Another fight breaking out around the side. Oh boy, Bulba in some trouble. Out comes the Eclipse from TC, and they'll secure a kill onto the Darkseer. Justin on the run. He'll be just elusive enough to make it out, but Liquid, it's a 2 for 2, and they get the tower out of it.
I don't know. It might not be 2 for 2. Way to getting hunted by this troll Dark Summoner, but
he has a reincarnation though.
Yeah.
And Luna's still nearby with plenty of hit points. Looks like he will be going home with the Dominator as well.
Kill him a lot around the map, and Justin's trying to be active, but his team's just dying a little bit too often in the process.
Yeah, certainly right. Now, let's take a look at the graph, see how things are faring. Liquid's finally getting a gold lead. It's very small. There's about 500. Experience is zeroed out. Looks like Demon will stack up these Ancients once more. That will take it to a triple stack.
It's blocked, yo.
Oh, yeah, look at that. There's a Radiant Sentry down. Good call. Well, that's unfortunate. Demon's efforts will be thwarted here. They'll probably notice on the next stack that it didn't get stacked this time, and maybe they'll throw down a Sentry, but at this point, they might as well just wait it out. Of course, they don't know if it's a Sentry or an Observer, so that's pretty darn close to the spot that blocks it, though. Remember yesterday we saw, I think the other ward placement is like right here. Yeah, that is your good D-ward spot that doesn't actually block the spawn.
Koikva closing in on his Blink Dagger. Blink is still not gonna always save him just because Ember Spirit's really good at disabling blinks. With Remnant, with Sleight of Fist, with Searing Chains, pretty much all his skills are really good at keeping a hero from blinking away, Ghost Scepter or not. Way too out of no man's land.
Yeah, he
his
gets
ulti
stunned
just
up.
dropped.
Although there is support inbound from Team Liquid. He throws out a stun on the Hellbear Smasher. Probably the smart choice. Thunderclap was just coming up. Now Bulba joining the party. Connects with a 2-man Impale. Rockets coming in from the Tinker. That'll do enough damage to repel the forces of eHug. They don't want to cross the river. And, well, they proc the Reincarnation, which isn't bad, but no follow-up kill to boot.
Jigglebelly going for the Midas on the Mirana. I don't necessarily think that's that bad for him. They do not have poor late game, but they still need Potom and Ember to be like pretty farmed. And Mirana, she's 0-0 and 2, and yeah, it'll probably be a longer game if either team or if eHug wants to win. I feel like because they can't really end the game early versus a Tinker.
Yeah.
Unless Tinker falls really far behind, but he's not. So they're going to have to deal with him if they even manage to get a mid-game lead. So it's a safer choice.
Yeah, Tinker is still the last hit leader, #1 on net worth by a good margin, and there is nothing slowing him down in sight. He's starting to pick up momentum now, level 11, and very close to that Blink Dagger, just a couple creeps away. I worry for eHug. I don't know how they'll eventually break high ground here. Their only hope is going to be to catch this Tinker out a couple times, catch him without buyback, and that's just going to be
They have
difficult.
to win this mid-game fight. I think the 15 to 30 minute is going to be really important for them. If they just let Tinker farm up a sheep, and Luna just get huge with BKB, they don't really have any solutions to that. They don't have anything versus BKB except maybe a super stacked Ember Spirit. He is 3-0-1, but if it gets super late, he'll just get perma-hexed and just kind of be a non-factor.
Yeah,
so
Tinker's a good hero to deal with them, and also Flame Guard is semi-nullified by what Tinker puts out, but we'll see. Cakes could be in some trouble here in the bottom lane as Liquid are starting to wrap around.
there is the Blink Dagger up on Koikba, so that's a...
And no TP on the Darkseer either.
Uh-oh.
They'll hunt him down. Bulba, he's vendetted up, gets scattered up by the tower. There's their Shadow Poison. They know he's here. Impale is on the money. Blink forward from the Tinker. Easy kill as Koikba finishes him off with a laser to the face.
That was so late from a response from eHug. I think if they had like a Mirana ultimate earlier, which he just used for some reason, I don't necessarily think they have reveal, but they have to drop a sentry like behind the tower. Or if Sand King's there and just channels an Epi in their face, he can do devastating damage from the fog. But Shadow Demon was there to provide a lot of vision. That will be an easy tower, and eHug, they're not really close to getting any towers. Maybe the top lane, but that's really difficult to get without a T1 up of your own.
Yeah, absolutely, and they just don't have a lot of pushing power. They have the Enchantress, sure, but she's only level 6 and just hasn't been able to grab too much momentum. She's not really that great of a solo pusher. They have some decent creep clearing, but nothing to do extra damage to towers. And still Sand King working on his Blink Dagger. Not too far off the mark now. After he finishes off this camp, he'll have it right around the 15-minute mark. Really not the best blink timing on Sand King. Not bad, but not great, especially considering this is a rush. He's just on brown boots, no arcanes, nothing else. He is, however, level 8, so he does have Epicenter.
And he's been active.
Yes, he's been active, so that does make up for it. So, still pretty decent, I guess, all things considered.
So what Liquid is going to do now is they're going to put their weak heroes in vulnerable positions, like Wraith King and Nyx Assassin, the heroes that don't really matter if they die or not, because eHug has to commit a fair amount of resources to kill them, and then just push out lanes with Tinker, and then just get huge on Tinker and Luna, because eHug can't really deal with it, and they have to get kills. So the pressure is on eHug to try and make things happen, and Jigglebilly is lurking.
Yeah.
He's a lurker.
I think Bulba saw him walk in there. No, maybe not, but in comes the Sand King. They put down a Sentry Ward. Bulba almost survives. That second star is enough to finish him off. That was just unfortunate. Great bait from eHug as soon as Jigglebilly came out of the trees.
So the important heroes they need to get kills on are Tinker and Luna. They are going to get kills on other heroes, but those are irrelevant in the grand scheme of the game, unless they just like straight feed 15 times. But they're not gonna. That's not gonna happen. They're just looking for small ganks here and there, and if they don't, then they'll just play on their side of the map, stack and pull. They already have the Satyr over here, although he's not stacking at this particular minute. Oh, is he going to be lit?
There you go. Looks like he'll do it.
And the Sentry Ward's already down there, so eHug, they're not very well prepared to deal with this mass stacking and out farming coming out from Liquid.
Yeah, they had the right idea blocking it once, but it was only a sentry. Even if it wasn't counter-warded, that still only limits their farm so much. One bottleneck for Liquid is that only Tinker or Luna can really farm the Ancients. It's one or the other, but sharing is caring. Luna using her Helm of the Dominator and taking point in the Dire jungle, and leaving the Ancient stacks to the Tinker. So they're both getting rather farmed. Both of them are on the top of the net worth chart, which of course is great news for Team Liquid. Now Justin, maybe in a little trouble, is getting stalked by Bulba, but will not be engaged upon. And I'm a sheep. He's going to be the target of choice. Vendetta about to expire. Bulba looking to get the Vendetta damage. He gets it. There's your Impale, Mana Burn, and a long-range rocket to finish him off. Koikba gets another one up on the scoreboard.
And I think Liquid is playing this exactly how they should be doing. They don't have to push at all, and they can just wait for eHug to either gank them, which they have really good scouting power, or push, which Tinker just obliterates. So eHug, they're going to have to do some wily stuff, maybe constantly like smoke around and gank here, just push. I don't really know how to get towers though. That's the big problem. If this tower were down, this Ancient stack would be a lot easier to control, but they don't have that tower down. They don't have the mid tower down, so if Luna wants to do Roshan with Wraith King, that's also an option open to them. So Liquid can approach this game from so many different ways.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's only so much eHug can do, and I worry again about this mid-game. This is where eHug starts to crumble a little bit, and they don't seem to have a really clear plan in sight. They can't really push, they can't really gank, and they don't really have the late game. So they need to make something happen. They need to start trying to gank with Moonlight Shadow, I think. That's one thing they haven't utilized too much. Jigglebilly's been very focused around farming with his Hand of Midas, which is actually off cooldown right now. Of course, as I say that, they burn the Moonlight Shadow, but will they find anything with it? Bottom lane, they do get a counter ward on a Observer that was just about to expire. Up top, looks like that'll be the target of choice. It is Demon. He gets stunned up by the Burrow Strike from Pandago. Jigglebilly on point with all the follow-up damage, and they make it a 1-0. So steps in the right direction, but as you pointed out, kills on the supports are really not that important compared to shutting down the Tinker or the Luna.
Well, scouting out a gank, they do have...
He blinks forward down bottom, and Cakes, he just gets obliterated. Now they'll go in on to Amaship, the blink forward from Koikva. They don't have the damage to bring him down straight away. Jigglebilly's inbound. They won't dive the tier 2, and they'll settle for just a kill on the Darkseer.
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah. Liquid aren't under that same power. A kill's a kill for them. And in the mid lane, Tinker coming forward. Justin could find himself in a bit of a rough situation as well. The tower, at least, will take pretty heavy pressure.
Tower's gonna die. They can't really do anything about it unless Sand King's already in position, and he's in the top lane, so... This tower, 160 HP, not quite in deny range, but TC's actually at very low HP at 500. So he could very easily die here.
Yep.
Especially with Sand King from behind.
They burn the glyph, and now eHug, they may try to make a hold, or at least take a fight as the tower goes down. Sand King goes straight in on the Luna. There's your Sandstorm, but out comes a Sentry Ward. Big damage coming out onto the Luna. Sand King secures that one. Justin hops forward as well, trying to finish off Jimmy. They'll secure that kill, but Pandago gets picked off on the side by the Nyx Assassin. Amaship now gets blown up by the Tinker. Cakes falls shortly after, and it's kind of a massacre here for eHug. Koikva does get caught in searing chains, tries to TP home, but just can't make it. It ends as a 3-for-3 for now. Justin on the run, and a surprisingly good fight for eHug. They put out a lot of damage, and they don't. They kill the Wraith King once. Pardon me. Can't kill him a second time. So 3-for-3.
They didn't need to put themselves in that risky of a position with Luna at half HP. 500 HP Luna without a BKB, that's your prime target to kill, and especially with highly mobile heroes like Ember Spirit and Sand King, they should have been better prepared for that sort of situation, but still not the worst exchange for them. They did lose their two most important heroes, though, in the Luna and the Tinker, and this is what happens when they actually decide to go for a push for themselves. But since they do have that tower down, now they can actually go for a Roshan very early. They have the BKB out on Luna in just about 1,500 gold, and the Ancient Sack is just still there if they want to take it and farm it.
Still just hanging out. Some Ancient Black Dragons there. Following that fight, some big items were picked up. You've got your Arcane Boots on Sand King, Mech now on the Darkseer, BKB on Mirana, and you've got a Maelstrom on Ember Spirit. We talked about this the other day when we were debating about Ember Spirit, and Mjolnir very viable now that there's no limit on how many Chain Lightnings you can have out at once. You can have that RNG factor, and if you get some back-to-back-to-back procs, you can put out a lot of AoE damage very quickly with Sleight of Fist, as each jump counts as one physical attack. I'm excited to see this build here, Merlini.
I think the Battle Fury build would have been better, though, because of a couple reasons. Firstly, they're going to get BKB on Luna, so Maelstrom not particularly useful. He doesn't know that right now, but Lunas almost always go for BKB anyways. Secondly, when Luna goes Manta and they have Disruption illusions, I think the Battle Fury is slightly better for clearing those illusions rather than a Maelstrom. And it scales better into the late game. Like, if you get a crit, it doesn't scale well with Daedalus, whereas it scales very well with Battle Fury. So Maelstrom is nice and all. I think it's better in certain lineups than others, and this one is just mediocre.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And every extra illusion you have nearby, you get another cleave, and if they're just a little bit too clumped up, that's where that damage really compounds with Ember Spirit. In the mid lane, we may see a kill actually come out onto Justin. Bulba stalking him down. There are some sentries, but they're dire sentries. Blink forward from Koikva. They've got more than enough to end that dominating streak of the Ember Spirit, and Bulba will walk away with about 600 gold to his name. Koikva gets interrupted as he tries to TP out, getting a little greedy here in the mid lane. The vacuum back. Will they have the follow-up damage? Nope, doesn't look like it. He'll be okay. Just goes down to half health.
They can't afford to have unreturned kills on their important heroes, simply because they have worse late game as it stands. 5,000 gold lead for Liquid. Even Nyx Assassin has a Dagon now, and Roshan's going to be taken down right now. TC's going to have his BKB soon, and looks like they're going to contest it, but it's just too little too late. Maybe if they have an Epicenter right now. I don't know. He's kind of in position, but he's only level 10.
Well, he burns his Blink Dagger to get to the other side of the river. Oh, they use a Dust, and they also use a Sentry Ward. He hops into the pit, but now he's in big trouble. Met comes forward. Luna pops the Eclipse. Lots of damage coming on both sides, but it is Liquid that will come out the victors. Ember Spirit now respawning. Maybe he can get to the battle. Jigabilly tries to TV home with the BKB, but it's just not enough. Ember, he'll be way late to the party. Had a Haste Rune in the bottle. And actually, will he get here in time to maybe snatch the Aegis? You can grab it with Sleight of Fist if you're very clutch with the timing. And he'll try it, but won't be able to grab it. Roche falls just a little bit too late. And now, will they get a kill onto Justin? It could end up being a feed.
I think Justin's going to kill them.
He gets a double damage rune.
No.
Oh, wow, it's close. A lot of damage. But he falls. Jimmy, he has 5 hit points to spare, something like that. That was a close call.
You know, a better Ember Spirit would have dropped the Remnant before he Sleight of Fisted, and then Sleight of Fisted and then Remnanted out.
Ouch.
But that's okay. Also, I think one big part of that fight that could have changed things very, very greatly is Darkseer not having wall. If he drops a wall on those 3 heroes, the Eclipse will damage a lot of illusions, and they'll spawn more illusions. So I think that was a big oversight by Cakes. You'll see a lot of Darkseer's skill wall at level 6 just because one value point is really good. He was only level 10 at that fight. He had the 4-4-2 build, and you had to get 1 point of wall. That skill is just too good to ignore, even at 1 point.
Yep. Having all the illusions helps, but it also just does a straight 150 damage, and if you can hit 2-3 heroes with it, that's damage you desperately need. In a team fight like that, when there's 3 heroes at the end walking away with double digits of hit points, wall certainly would have been enough to secure those kills.
The damage the illusions do is a lot, too. It only scales 10% per level, but level 1 is 70%. Yep. So that's a ton, especially on a hero like Luna with a Yasha. That thing will hit very, very hard, and on top of that, you might proc it multiple times in a fight.
They're kind of on the back foot. It was a pretty even game until that, but that was the first big skirmish we saw eHug just get completely cleaned up. Justin will deny a tower in the bottom lane, but a 10,000 gold, 12,000 experience lead now for Liquid. TC gets initiated upon. That'll proc the Aegis, and we did see Boots of Travel from Koikba on the way, but that won't happen. Now TC comes back up. BKB pop. Will just stand and fight. Doesn't have an ultimate, but has Lucent Beams and doing a fair bit of damage. Cakes blows the mech. That keeps him alive for now, but in comes Bulba. Connects with an Impale. They kill the Darkseer. Big epicenter turnaround from the Sand King. Picks up a double kill on the Shadow Demon and Tinker. Now they'll chase down TC. And eHug, they regain some momentum here. That's a 1-for-4 trade.
Huge ulti by Pandago. Look at that.
The man of the hour right here. Sand King himself, Crabman, the Lobster. Well done.
But look at fat old Tinker. He just showed off his brand new Scythe of Vice in that fight, and on top of that, he has Staff of Wizardry and 1,000 gold. So it wasn't even just like a Blink Sheep Rush. He has, well, it was a Blink Sheep Rush, but he still has a lot of gold after that, which is really scary. If you think TC's farmed at 11,500, Koikva has 2,500 gold more than him.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, he also has 1,300 gold in the bank, he being the Luna. So great fight for eHug, but they still have a long way to go before closing this gap. Still a solid 7,500 gold, 10,000 experience lead. Steps in the right direction, though, and this is part of the power of the Sand King. He farms well, he's great in the early game and in the mid game, even in the late game. He can turn fights around with just one good epicenter, as we saw right there. Fortification comes out from Liquid, and Bulba, they're still having trouble dealing with this Nyx Assassin. They haven't picked up a gem yet. Oh, pardon me, they have. Following that fight, Sand King grabbed one. So now they can deal with this Nyx Assassin. Bulba does blink out to safety. It looks like they did scout it out. Justin coming in, though. No Vendetta available. Searing Chains on the mark. Burrow Strike, Arrow, and they bring down the Nyx Assassin. Finally, eHug with a response.
And they'll finally get a tower, too. This tower is really big because it controls the Ancient spawn, and they've been just using that Ancient spawn. Probably, they've taken out maybe like 11 stacks this game already, and that's a huge source of gold income for them.
Oh, all right, Pandago, he Burrow Strikes defensively. I got scared for a second there. But they'll all just retreat, and Ancients, what is it right now? Just a double stack, but there is another Radiant Sentry down, so they will continue to try and harbor the amount of farm they get out of the Ancients.
Justin needs more items. He picked up his Maelstrom a while ago, but he had a really good start. I think he was 3-0-1. Now he's 6-2-6, but only Phase Drum's Maelstrom. That's not the richest Ember Spirit. He's actually number 4. He's even behind the Priest of the Moon. Granted, Priest of the Moon did go for a Midas, and
he's got a Crystallis now.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, that was on the Courier. So.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where his gold went.
He's a little more farmed, and Jigglebilly, he's going for Diffusal on the Marana as his item after BKB.
Diffusal's alright. It's good versus Wraith King, but he has 676 mana, so that's really hard to burn as a ranged hero with Diffusal. With a melee hero with Manta, you can do it, but I don't know about Mirana, and it's very good versus Ghost Scepter on Tinker, but Tinker doesn't have a Ghost Scepter yet. So I do think it's a good build. Sometimes I don't think it's a good build this game. I think a Manta would have done a lot more, and it's just a lot more utility.
Well, now Liquid have double Dagon. Level 1 out on the Tinker, level 2 Dagon on Bulba's Nyx Assassin. So there will be a lot of lasers coming about in this upcoming team fight. Yeah, pew pew indeed. Moonlight Shadow used, and Tinker, he's going to TP right in, but oh, Pandago, he jumps the gun. He stuns the creeps, and that cancels the Boots of Travel. Oh, no. That was a misplay. They definitely could have picked up a kill on Quick, but he had no clue that they were there. They were all Moonlight Shadowed. But just gets too excited.
He got really excited.
He did. He Burrow striked in, and he showed those creeps who was boss, but unfortunately there wasn't a Tinker next to him.
Is it Burrow striked or Burrow struck?
Burrow struck, probably, but did I say striked?
I think you can say, is strike the word?
No.
No? Struck?
I think it's Burrow struck. He was struck by the burrows. Well, Wraith King, he's almost got a Maelstrom up now, so there will be a Maelstrom for each team. And Luna, what has she gone for? BKB, she spent her money on something. Is it on the Courier? Sure is. That's a Manta style coming out for TC.
She's just due to standard build, the Manta Butterfly Satanic.
Yep.
There's no reason not to this game.
Yeah, nothing crazy about it. It's kind of a tried and true style build, and she's still number 2 on net worth.
Bulba finds Justin.
Uh-oh. But he's off the mark with the Impale. Justin, he'll just fire Remnant back home. Ooh. That was sort of an awkward animation, but...
Oh, they're smoking to try and get good old Quake on top. He is in a somewhat compromising position, but no, he'll just TP out. And
yeah, he's home.
Let's see. For the Tinker Sheep, who's he going to be looking to get? Mostly the Ember Spirit, I'd say, because Potom has a BKB. She doesn't actually do that much damage compared to the Ember Spirit, and I think Sand King's more important. Oh, buddy, Pegasus is dead. Yep. Sand King's more important, but Sand King's you're not really going to be able to find too easily.
Yeah. Jimmy just caught off guard there. I think the Sand King was actually smoked up. So, just an easy gank on the support.
eHug's hanging in there real well, though, considering how, like, the 10 to 20 mazes of the game went. That epi by Pandago just put them right back in the game.
Yep. They're doing okay. They're holding in there. They're getting picks on the support. Still not really able to shut down this Tinker too effectively following that team fight.
There's only so many slots that Tinker has, man.
Yeah, that's true.
You can only get so fat.
But he still has a ways to go. He still has a Soul Ring in a bottle he can get rid of. He's golden. Long-range arrow almost smacks the Skeleton King in the bottom lane, but creeps come in the nick of time and keep him safe. TC using that Manta. They're just shoving creeps into this bottom lane, keeping eHug kind of turtled up and maintaining map control. Liquid are really handling themselves well. They know that they have map control, they're farming better, and just the static Farm Fest game will kind of go in their favor as long as they don't concede unnecessary deaths. Even though there is a 1-0 Midas advantage on the side of eHug, Liquid just have so much better map control, and the Ancients have really made a big difference in the bottom line of farms. Roche will be respawning reasonably soon. We'll see what that RNG timer is in about 10 seconds or so.
Is Justin getting a...
This is an odd build.
I think he needs a Lincoln. Because Tinker just blink sheeps and then you're dead.
Yeah. I say this is strange because it's just a little bit of everything. Normally you would see the Maelstrom be upgraded to the Mjolnir, or the Crystals be upgraded to the Daedalus, or that Perseverance be picked up.
Well, you don't need Mjolnir on him.
A Battle Fury. You don't need it, but...
Because there's no actual good target for you to place it on. So, and attack speed is very, very poor on...
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess the Maelstrom is as good as the Mjolnir in context of the Ember Spirit. But we'll see a fight break out down bottom. Sand King first to go down, but now the two Liquid heroes taking a lot of damage. Wraith King falls. That procs the Reincarnation. Tinker coming in. Scythe of Ice out on Justin. Throws out all the damage. Way 2 pops back up. And he will have enough to finish off the Ember Spirit. Dagon comes out onto a sheep. He tries to TP home. Luna's there with the interrupt, and they'll bring her down as well. It ends up being a 1-for-3 eHug on the defensive. The remaining 2 will make it back to the base, and Liquid will press forward.
Yep, Ember Spirit can't afford to put himself in that sort of situation. Like, it's just so difficult for him because they have no way to really save him unless they have like an instant search come out when he gets hexed. But they're always going to be looking to focus the Ember Spirit just because he does so much damage relative to how easy he is to kill. And
Glyph comes out from the Radiant side as they pressure this bottom tier 3. eHug may still be able to make a hold. Sand King coming up now. He got picked off early in that last fight, so he still has an Epicenter available. But March of the Machine just makes this so much more difficult. Limits the areas that he can hide and get a good Epicenter blink initiation. Even the bouncing glaze from Luna. Look how much damage is coming out onto Pandago here. And that was just from Bouncing Glaives and March of the Machine. That's absurd.
It's absurd if they can actually get themselves in that sort of situation. Generally, when you try and push up, Sand King will just destroy you. But if he's dead, then they can get a lot of damage on the towers. And Range Rex is down to half HP, melee to about half 2, but that should regen up pretty shortly. Roshan has respawned. TC immediately has in there. 3,300 gold, so pretty close to his butterfly. I assume that's what he's going next. And Justin, with that buyback, I don't think he's going to be able to finish Linken's by, like, I don't know. It's going to be like a 45-minute Linken's, 40 minutes. I expect him to die quite.
Yeah, that couldn't have gone too much better for Liquid. The buyback and then no counter kills really hurts the Ember Spirit. That was all of his hard-earned money. And
straight into Roshan.
Yeah, eHug, they will repel this Roshan for now. Vacuum back onto TC. He gets put into a disruption from his Shadow Fiend or Shadow Demon buddy. There is a huge fatty stack right here, and TC will just clear it out while eHug go for the tier 1 tower in the mid lane. I think Liquid will be happy to make that trade for now. And they're still in an okay spot to take Roche. We see Koikva in the top lane just pressuring this tier 2 tower. eHug in a difficult spot right now.
It's Ember Spirit's job to defend against these pushes.
Yeah, well, the big stack has been taken out. Luna gets some more illusions here. They will get a free Dark Troll Summoner. Now, eHug are the ones moving into the Roche pit. This is a risky proposition. They see Tinker in the bottom lane. That tier 2 tower, or pardon me, the top lane, the tier 2 tower falls near the Radiant base. And now Tinker, he just rejoins the party. I think Liquid should be able to grab Roche.
eHug has to contest this, though. If they don't contest this, they're probably gonna lose.
Yep.
So, well,
they've got an epicenter available. They'll chuck a long-range arrow. Roche falling reasonably quickly. The long-range arrow hits TC. This could be their opening, but huge amount of flux coming out from those March of the Machines. Vacuum down to the low ground. Koikva taking heavy damage. He actually falls. TC pops the ultimate, though. Return kills coming out. There's your epicenter around the backside, doing a lot of damage to the Nyx Assassin. Kills coming out, but is it enough to actually repel the Roche? It doesn't look like it. Liquid burn a buyback onto their Shadow Demon. They move into the pit, and they will be able to finish it off. Oh, Pandago coming in. He gets disrupted. Arrow flies through. Actually hits Roche. It goes down to the Dire. Luna grabs the Aegis, and this is an unsuccessful contest for eHug. Mirana is the lone survivor. Jiggle Billy moving into the trees. And he'll be okay. They won't be able to find him.
But he doesn't have a TP scroll. If they just swing bottom right now, Tinker's going to revive pretty shortly and be able to push with them. TC has his butterfly completed. And did you see how much damage he was doing even without butterfly? Like, he was just trucking people.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And they'll just move straight into this bottom lane of Rax. No glyph available. Buybacks on the Radiant side. There are a couple available. Enchantress will respawn. No reason to use it. Darkseer has one, but he'll be coming up in just a few seconds as well. Range Rax go down. Melee will go down shortly after. Look at all of these Lunas. Oh, man, it's just a Luna army here. Not focusing the melee Rax. Actually sends the illusion straight into the tier 4s, and the bouncy glaives just going hard on the structures. Actually doing a lot of damage to Amma Sheep as well. Those are just illusions, mind you, forcing out the Nature's attendants.
And they can't even kill him.
Jeez. Bottom lane of Rax fall, tier 2 tower in the mid falls, and now Liquid. They've got a huge lead. 14,000 gold, 14,000 experience. Seems like just a matter of time.
It is. If anyone tries to push out too far, Tinker will just perma-sheep and kill them. And he also has Dagon 4. Now Dagon 5. And they also have a Dagon 5 on Nyx Assassin. So
lasers
Dagon 4 on
lasers.
That's so much damage, like instant damage coming out.
Set your phasers to kill, Merlini.
I'm pretty scared for eHug. They can't really leave the base. Ember Spirit needs the Linken Sphere, but he died again. He only has 1,800 gold, and
the one true king with a sacred relic as well.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, buddy.
Is he gonna get Rapier? Or Radiance?
I don't know. Rapier was one of his recommended items for a long while.
It isn't anymore?
I'm not sure. They cleaned up a lot of the silly item choices in the spring.
That's not
cleaning.
silly.
It's not silly. Divine Rapier is totally legit. Well, our question will be answered, though. Radiance will be his item of choice, but yeah, would have been fun to see a Rapier on the one true king. Up top, Justin. Oh, okay, he's got a Fire Remnant back home. He'll scoot to it. Boot scoot just in the nick of time. He does have 2,200-ish gold, so if he wants to grab the Battle Fury or the Lincolns, he'll be close to either one. Actually, a little bit closer to the Battle Fury.
I think he has to go Lincolns, though. They need more damage, but they also need him to survive, and I think surviving is more important than doing damage at this point.
Yeah. This is where again, eHug don't have the same level of carry power, so stands to reason they're lacking damage.
And they're hugely underfarmed.
Yes, that also does not help their battle here. Manta Style's up on Jiggle Billy. So he's starting to hit harder, but just not quite enough compared to March of Machines and all of the Luna illusions, the disruption on top of the Mantas. Oh boy, this tier 3 tower falling very quickly. Glyph has just become available. eHug will save it for the racks, but they're going to have to burn it pretty much now. Glaive's just trucking the base. And here we go, Pandago with the Epicenter coming in. A lot of damage out on TC. He is the Aegis carrier. It will get popped as Enchantress finishes him down, but the rest of eHug just getting cleaned up. Justin now gets sheeped. They won't pursue. Rockets come out. Buyback from Cakes. He'll get stunned straight away by the Wraith King. That procs the Reincarnation. Surge buys Cakes some time, but they're just completely zoned out. Mid lane of racks have fallen.
Use your wall, bro.
Yeah, Cakes, you got to use it. It's level 2. That could turn the tides in a fight like that. At least help. Justin, he gets stunned by the spike. Carapace, that sets up for the kill. Laser out onto Jigglebilly. He'll walk back to the well, and yeah, GG from eHug. Nothing they could do once
eHug
to
still
late
played
game.
pretty well.
Better than they have been, for
Better
sure.
than they have been. And I think Liquid played pretty well, too.
Better than they have been.
Better than they have.
Both of the underdogs really stepping up their game here. I like it.
I like Liquid's draft. It's a little bit different. And they also have supports that can actually do something. A couple of games that I've watched them, they pick like AA plus like Disruptor or something like that.
Lich Tree, these very passive combos.
I think that Demon is a playmaking support. If you put him on a passive support, you're doing your team an injustice because you could be winning the early game instead of maybe winning the mid game. So I think that although he didn't do the best job in the early game, this particular game, they still did enough. They like stacked, they minimized deaths around the map, and they, I don't know, Waitu I think played really well. Way better than he usually does.
He played well in the Wraith King. It seemed having a really tanky support that he could afford to die with a few times really seemed to work into his playstyle. Demon ended 0, 8, and 11 with nothing but brown boots and an urn, but he was position 5, bought a lot of consumables, lots of smokes, lots of wards, so he still played well, set up a lot of kills.
Koikva just got massively farmed though. He was really efficient in how he moved around the map.
They just had no response for him. In the mid lane, he pretty much had free run of it. He did well against Ember Spirit right out of the gate thanks to the double damage rune on Demon.
Well, it was that failed Enchantress.
Yes, game. And then, yeah, they killed the Courier, but then Koikva got a solo kill on the Enchantress who tried to pick him off diving that tower. So, yeah, Koikva had a pretty good start, and then there was just really nothing to shut him down.
They didn't keep up the Ancient warding, too. I think that was extremely important.
Yeah, that's something. They put a couple of wards down, but they really only ended up stopping like
super
3
vigilant.
or 4 stacks. Yeah, Liquid were much more on point with making sure they get those stacks up. So, all right, that was our first game of the day, and it looks like we have solved our tech issues. I know at the beginning there were a few points where the camera kind of died there. There were some cables running amok. We'll blame the cats, but we are all set now. Coming up next will be Revenge versus the Sneaky Nyx Assassins.
So Revenge apparently no longer has the good old Smash. So
yes, I feel like it's not Revenge without Smash. That's crazy. That's craziness. Who replaced him? Is Ewo the replacement for Smash?
Doesn't matter.
Or
there is no
replacement
for Smash. Smash is Revenge.
Yeah, that's tricky. So we'll see what their roster looks like today. They had 3 stand-ins yesterday, and with the 3 stand-ins, they weren't looking so hot. Kunkito and who was the other one? I can't remember. Blueberry or Sauce or something.
It wasn't Blueberry.
So that'll be coming up next, scheduled to start in just about 20 minutes. So we'll have a little break here, and then plenty more Dota 2 action coming your way. You're watching the Summit America group stages presented by Beyond the Summit and, of course, powered by Twitch. We'll see you guys in 20.